Got it. Okay, take two. Hello, everyone. Thank you for tuning in today. We are here to talk about the bonus prizes that are a part of this year's Epic Prize Round 2. As a reminder, this year's Epic Prize Round 2 Design It deadline is October 25th. We encourage you to tune into the webinar from a couple of months ago for details on the whole program. As I mentioned today, we're specifically talking about those bonus prizes. So a quick reminder, the Epic Prize is a $4 million prize program targeted at you, incubators and accelerators who are supporting energy entrepreneurs. We are grateful to have different DOE program offices that have supported this program with a $50,000 bonus prize each. Today, you're going to hear from a couple of those offices about their bonus prize, what they're encouraging you to look at, and some advice for you if you're thinking about applying to their bonus prize. Remember, we are in the design it phase right now. We are looking for you to apply to one of two tracks, either as a new or emerging incubator or as a new program at an existing incubator. All competitors, regardless of the track, should create new programming, should support startup creation, and build regional partnerships. Then the rest of this prize is up to you. We encourage you have to pick at least one item from this list. If you dive into the sector-specific support around one of these bonus prize areas, there is $50,000 of bonus prize funding available to you to support your work. We have one with the buildings office, one with the solar office, one with the water power office, and one with the geothermal office. Today, we have representatives from those offices here to talk to us about the bonus prizes, why they're excited about them, and why you should apply for them. So I am going to invite Nick Ryan from our buildings office up first. Hey, Nick, how are you doing today? Can you tell us a little bit about your bonus prize?
Yes, thank you so much, Sarah. And thank you guys for putting this together. I think this is a great way to get the word out about the bonus prize. So the Building Technologies Office is really open to obviously any of the two tracks, but within those tracks, incubators and accelerators that really bring a full portfolio of assets to helping startups. We're not super interested in or super concerned with any sort of one specific focus area of the incubator or accelerator, but rather a holistic approach that really touches and helps stakeholders along the commercialization pathway. I think something unique about the buildings technologies and the prize itself is that, of the technologies we listed, each of them have a unique challenge. Commercializing window technology versus HVAC technologies are very different. But at the same time, there are some commonalities that we hope that programs are able to develop resources that cross-cut those different technology areas and provide kind of universal guidance. So it's finding the balance that I think is something we're really looking forward to. And obviously, deep connections to capital markets, deep connections to fabricators and manufacturers, relationships with local and state governments, because in many ways, that's how these things really get deployed. And obviously, opportunities for deployment and measurement and validation.
Great. Can you tell us a little bit about why this is so exciting to your industry? You touched on it a little bit, but why do we need startups working in this space?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think with just the recent passage of legislation from the CHIPS Act to IRA to BIL, there's a new profound interest in infrastructure, and I think in many ways the green infrastructure of the future revolves around housing and buildings. It is really a culmination point where outside of solar fields and things like that on open acreage, solar integration into buildings is a huge for resiliency and grid security. Same thing with electric vehicles. People are going to be charging at their home or at their office and things like that. So we really feel that buildings is the heart of how a lot of this infrastructure gets propped up and stays going into the future. Also, there's a lot of areas that are just incredibly interesting, and I think we are seeing more and more are very lucrative to turn a phase, very lucrative markets that are untapped. We think have a huge potential to see some really innovative companies come to the foreground and lead the economy into the future.
Great, thanks, Nick. It sounds like there's definitely a lot of opportunity in the building space and a lot of opportunity for innovators to be working in this space. Any advice that you have for incubators or accelerators who are thinking of applying to your bonus prize track?
Yeah, I think kind of going back to my first point about finding that balance between addressing the specific challenges of specific technologies, as well as developing resources that can cut across those. Obviously we're interested in some of the core tenets of EERE, things like reducing embodied carbon, having greater operational capabilities, reducing demand on the grid, and that comes through better envelope and windows and HVAC systems and things like that. So I think really the takeaway that I would give to folks applying for this is be very specific about how your approach is unique and different from what traditional incubator and accelerators might put forward. Or if you are a traditional incubator accelerator, how your network, how your approach, and how your programming is evolving to meet these new technologies and how you see them fitting into the larger market. I think being able to present that ability of knowing how complex and nuanced this space is while providing tangible, discrete solutions, that's really going to carry the day for us.
Great. Thanks so much, Nick. Thank you for joining us. And be sure to check out the rules if you are interested in applying to the buildings bonus track. We are going to switch over to the solar office, and I invite David to join me. David, good morning. How are you?
Hi, Sarah. Thanks for having us.
Thank you. Can you tell us a little bit about what the solar office is looking for in their bonus prize?
Yeah, so we really see a lot of exciting opportunities for new software and hardware innovations to continue to lower the cost and increase the deployment of solar. But what we really see is the biggest challenge is more in the hardware space. And so our bonus prize is really targeting entities that are focusing on supporting hardware innovations in solar. And so there's all sorts of exciting directions solar hardware R&D is going, whether it's domestic manufacturing across the solar supply chain, the development of solar projects or technologies designed to benefit disadvantaged or underserved communities. There's new materials development that improves the cost and performance of solar, power electronics, PV recycling, multi-use opportunities, like agrivoltaics, floating solar, or building integrated photovoltaics, and that's just to name a few, right? And so there's a lot of really exciting new and emerging market sectors, and we're really interested in accelerating the cycles of learning to quickly deploy these new technologies in order to meet some of the sort of climate and decarbonization goals. And we really think that the incubators and accelerators will have a really big role to play in that.
That's great. I think you already hit on it a little bit, but anything else on why this is so relevant to the solar industry? I think you touched on a lot of emerging and new ideas, but why does it help the industry?
Yeah, so I think this is just a really exciting time for solar. And so, as many of you know, the Biden administration has ambitious goals to achieve carbon pollution-free electricity by 2035, to deliver an equitable clean energy future, and to put the US on a path to achieve net zero emissions economy-wide by no later than 2050. And so solar energy is going to play a really huge role in achieving these goals. But what we've done so far is really just the tip of the iceberg. And so, we see that there's a lot more work to be done, but that also means there's a lot of opportunities for folks, right? And so I'm just going to share some numbers to give you an idea of how much solar deployment needs to grow. And so it'll need to grow to an average of about 30 gigawatts AC per year between now and 2025. It'll ramp up to 60 gigawatts AC per year between 2025 and 2030, which is 4 times its current deployment rate. And that'll get us to about 1,000 gigawatts AC of solar deployed by 2035. And then in 2050, in order to achieve a zero carbon grid, solar capacity would need to reach 1,600 gigawatts. And so to give you a frame of reference, the US had about 97 gigawatts AC of total solar deployment earlier this year. And so clearly there's a lot of work that needs to be done in order to increase the rate of solar deployment to reach these goals. And obviously we want to focus on equity and energy justice principles as we do this work, right? And so again, just to summarize, I think this is a really exciting time in solar because there's all of this work to be done, but that also means that there's a lot of opportunities as well.
No, I think you summed it up great. So for those incubators that are looking to apply to your bonus track, what advice do you have to them?
Yeah, so we know that different organizations are likely to have different expertise. So rather than us telling you what technology you should focus on, we're really interested in hearing from you, what your expertise is in and how you're uniquely positioned to support a given technology space in solar. And so, we really encourage folks to leverage their local ecosystem and show us how they can utilize it to support and accelerate the development of new solar hardware technologies. So a couple ideas off the top of my head, maybe you have unique access to prototyping equipment that you can support innovators with, or maybe you have resources to support outdoor field testing, or maybe there's a hub of expertise in your region that you can connect innovators with. And so we also really encourage applicants to comment on how they're able to support individuals and communities from historically underserved or disadvantaged backgrounds. There's a lot of great ideas from innovators and entrepreneurs all over the country, and we want to make sure that we hear the ideas of folks from all backgrounds, and that they're able to access the resources they need to share their ideas and their technologies. And so, yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much. I think the Solar Office Bonus Prize is another great opportunity for people. We're only through 2 of them. I don't know how people are going to pick just one track to apply to, but you can only pick one bonus prize to apply to get those extra funds on top of your core submission. So thank you so much, David. We're going to keep going to the next office. Brittany, if you are there and able to join us. Brittany represents the Geothermal Technologies Office. Brittany, how are you?
Hey there, Sarah.
Hey,
Can you
Brittany.
hear me okay?
Yep, I can hear you.
Okay, I unfortunately, for whatever reason, my camera is not connecting. Do you want me to kind of still do the overview, or is it better to do, sorry, no recording, or would you like me to do a video later and send to you? I'm happy to go kind of either way on this. I apologize.
That'd be great. Why don't, let's just jump in. Why don't you tell us a little bit about the Geothermal Technologies Office Bonus Prize?
Okay, great. Yeah, so, in the Geothermal Technologies Office, we are, extremely excited for the opportunity. Geothermal can play in a net zero economy. Geothermal being a small physical footprint, it's firm power 24 hours a day with ability to ramp up and ramp down based on demand. So we're excited for the opportunity that it can play and growing deployment across the United States. But one of the biggest challenges we have is the environment in which we're working in. So in geothermal, we're working in the subsurface. It's hot, it's extreme environments, and it's a lot of unknown. So we've decided to, the Geothermal Technologies Office is focused our prize on high temperature packaging and sensors and tools. And this is an area in which a lot of growth is needed in the industry. There's lots of temperature tools out there right now, but we struggle with tools that are consistent at the 150C and greater ranges that occur in drilling and geothermal. So our prize is really focused on attacking that challenge and working to develop better tools within those environments. So that's the prize kind of overview within in the technology that we're looking at.
That's great. It's interesting that the Geothermal Office has taken the approach of really identifying something very specific in their field that we're really looking for incubators and accelerators to help with. So Brittany, can you talk a little bit about why this is exciting and relevant for the geothermal industry, maybe for those folks that aren't as familiar with the geothermal space?
Yeah, absolutely. So within the geothermal space, drilling costs are over 50% of the upfront cost for geothermal. And so getting those costs down is critical to deployment. And so one of those ways we can do that is with better tools in accessing the reservoir and also in resource characterization, which is critical piece in improving our knowledge of the subsurface and being able to measure in real time and use data to adjust drilling operations. So it's a critical piece and one that is being worked on, but needs more support and more innovation.
Thanks. And for incubators and accelerators who are thinking about applying to your track, do you have any advice for them as they go down this route?
Similar to, as David said, just kind of leaving it up to them to really be able to utilize what connections they have, and being able to access what kind of groups they have working with them. Is specifically observatories, field labs, testing is going to be key. So having partnerships with places in which there's lab or field testing that are available are going to be critical to get in this technology further down to deployment.
Yeah, those are some great examples of regional resources people should be tapping into. Thank you so much for joining us today, Brittany, to talk about the Geothermal Prize. We're going to turn things over to Rukmani. Last but certainly not least, I'm sure the Water Office gets that a lot, being toward the end of the alphabet. But Rukmani, thank you so much for joining us today. I'd love it if you could tell everyone a little bit about what the Water Office is looking for in their bonus prize applicants.
Yeah, hi Sarah, thanks for giving us this opportunity. So we support research, development, and commercialization of both marine energy and hydropower technologies. And marine energy is harnessing energy from tides, from waves, from ocean currents and river currents. And this is much less mature technology than other kinds of renewable power like wind or solar or geothermal, because this is incredibly challenging to do for a number of different reasons. Like anytime you put something in the water, there are issues with biofouling, and the technology is also very complicated. And so what we really want to do is, as we've been funding some of the research and development to address these challenges, to build devices that generate power, we also want to support the developers and the researchers with the resources needed to be able to effectively bring the technologies to the market and to incorporate these considerations early on. So we funded a number of startups and small companies through our Small Business Innovation Research Program and through some of our funding opportunities. And we also want to enable them to effectively commercialize their research. Hydropower, I think, is much better known. This is essentially harnessing energy from water flowing down a potential, and we funded research not just in innovations in sort of low-head hydropower, but also in improving more environmentally friendly technologies. And again, these are technologies that could use some help and bring brought to market and have applications even outside the hydropower industry. So what we are really looking for are companies, are incubators, accelerators that can help these companies move along and support entrepreneurship and innovation in marine energy and hydropower, and also more broadly in the blue economy overall.
Yeah, that's great. It sounds like you already have a pretty robust ecosystem of people out there, and adding support to incubators and accelerators will help move that along. Can you talk a little bit more about why this is so exciting and relevant to the industry right now?
Yeah, so we are at a very interesting point in the industry. In marine energy, we recently launched an initiative in 2019 called Powering the Blue Economy, where in addition to focusing on what has been traditional grid-scale marine energy generation, we are really trying to work with near-term opportunities in the blue economy. So these are opportunities like desalination, ocean observing, aquaculture. And what we're really hoping is for developers to partner with end users in the blue economy and to develop systems that can power applications in the blue economy in the near term. And so this is a very exciting time for our office, because over the last couple of years, we funded a number of different companies through our prizes and through our different programs to do this work. And I think we have a few very interesting success stories, and we really want them to be able to effectively move into the market and to be able to expand their organizations and companies.
Great. So for people looking to apply to your track, do you have any advice for those incubators and accelerators as they put their submissions together?
So we would really want to know what the connection to water power is, how they will support marine energy, the blue economy, or hydropower. And what we also are really looking for is how you will incorporate diversity, equity, inclusion, and justice into your work, as some others have said. earlier. So we really want to know how you will support underrepresented developers or support disadvantaged communities, and what your strategy for doing so is.
Great. Thank you so much, Rukmani. And
So,
thank you to all 4 offices, the Water Power Office, Geothermal Technologies, Building Technologies, and Solar. We are so excited to have bonus prizes from each of you as a part of the EPIC Prize. You heard it straight from the source here. So think about these 4 tracks or 4 bonus prizes. And if you're interested in putting in a submission that supports these, you could have the opportunity to win that extra additional bonus prize funding on top of the core funding offered by OTT. We encourage you to get your submissions in by October 25th. Please refer to the rules for all of the details on these bonus prizes and the prize in general. And we look forward to reading and reviewing your submissions. Thank you so much.